And imagine your stereotypical environmental activist, steward, or nature lover. Hypothetically, let's just say this person identifies as male and is an adult. What might they look like? How might they act? Could we package them in a nice, neat box? Okay? Feel free to open your eyes. Couple of questions here. Do they like granola, drive a fuel-efficient VW, and wear Patagonia? Yep. Might they carry a water bottle and a trusty backpack at all times? Check. Would they find solace or satisfaction through long walks, hikes, or runs in the great outdoors? Guilty as charged. And lastly, do they possess scraggly facial hair reminiscent of naturalist John Muir? And I'm not talking about the measly Will Pinkerton Movember-esque mustache. Sorry, Will, I love you, buddy. And have a mountain man appearance. Unfortunately, this is where Mr. Meltzer or Mr. Sorrento might just have a leg up on me. That was a joke there. All bad deliveries and joking and stereotypes aside, I would argue that we are all environmental activists, stewards, and nature lovers in one way or another. Look around the room. Quite possibly the next Jane Goodall, Sylvia Earle, Leonardo DiCaprio, or Millbrook alum and environmental crusader Tom Lovejoy might just be in our midst. Without a doubt, good stewards come in all shapes, sizes, colors, genders, and ages. For example, check out Drew Moriarty with his red hair. Appropriate for today, I think. Charlotte Meggs sporting glasses, a mature third former in Clara Brew, the comedic Arthur Fort, yes, Arthur, a shout out there, or Millbrook's very own version of Harry Potter's character Rubeus Hagrid, our beloved Dr. T. So how exactly does this higher calling of stewardship, one of Millbrook's 5 core values, actually happen? What are the influences or motivators? And if it's lacking or potentially not present in areas of our community, then how does one begin to sidestep, shift, or shape a culture? In many ways, these ideas are part and parcel of my evolving role here at Millbrook as Director of Stewardship and Sustainability. I myself have some theories, and I would like to point out a few examples, observations, and personal anecdotes quickly from my short time here at Millbrook and from my own multiple revolutions around the sun. Oddly, one way to get individuals on the green bandwagon is through shame. Yes, shame. And at times can be alarmingly effective. Look no further than Miss Havard's announcements about recycling woes in the barn. Then she subsequently followed up and followed through with a guilt-inducing image of non-compostable materials in the wrong recycling bins. And to that I say, oh snap. Way to go, Miss Havard. Another well-proven technique to alert or enlighten a group of environmental issues is through gloom and doom, guilt, or simply addressing one audience in a somber tone with the straight facts. This fall, Dom delivered a short yet eloquent message at an assembly about a climate change conference that took place in Poland. He summed up the conference, and the wicked problem that is climate change with grace and poise. I myself was deeply moved. Thank you, Dom, for expressing your concerns to our community. I like to come at the idea of stewardship and sustainability from the lens of humility, gratitude, and appreciation for the great outdoors. Growing up, I was blessed to have a childhood and adult life chock full of experiences immersed in nature. As a result, I am a lover of wild places, and that affinity roots me in the idea of conserving, preserving, and protecting all creatures in all places, great and small. If pressed, could you think of your own favorite wild place? And might that just be a way to fuel your fires of stewardship? What would you do to save that place for future generations? For someone like Mr. Skoglund, he might state that he's most content and alive in his hip waders while fly fishing out west, whereas Jay Harris is most at home on the farm. And Mac Grosscup, of course, is wildly content at the zoo. Vivian Yu was kind enough to share with me her sentiments about wild places, and I quote, I still remember vividly that when I went up to the ski hill and stood under the serene, starry sky with my entire grade, this was a while ago, listening to Mr. Waters, who was the physics teacher then, introducing constellations with a laser pointer in hand. I'd lived my entire life in cities in China and never had the chance to see the tranquil cosmic ocean with my own eyes. I was absolutely amazed at the beauty of nature. Third formers, this month, as part of your emerging naturalist curriculum, you'll have that same opportunity at stargazing too. And I can't wait to be a part of it with you. Having spent the last 5 years myself teaching and researching on a small remote island, or small island developing state, SIDS as they call them, in the subtropics, I'm acutely aware of the resources and opportunities that I, you, or we have here at Millbrook. This may sound a bit draconian, but from a global perspective, we are the environmental 1%. We are the environmental 1%. Let me explain. We have access to incredible food and an expanding farm program. A zoo at our school, yes, a zoo at our school that is accredited by the AZA, a South Campus that begs for exploration, water that is potable, buildings with heat, sometimes that may be, class offerings that engage and excite, a community where curiosity and student input are deeply valued, and much, much, much more. It's a place where everyone is known, needed, and looks out for one another. That said, and with respect as our core value this year, I believe that it's our duty to be even better stewards of this place, this community, and this world. Greening, in many ways, is a collective state of mind. There are a variety of ways to think about, approach, or make progress in the realm of stewardship and sustainability. From my perspective, it's not a one and done, a simple fix, or a lone voice like myself leading the charge. I see our problems, hindrances, or obstacles, be it on campus, in our communities, or across the globe, as merely solutions in disguise. Currently, the Environmental Council, SCAPE, and devoted students, teachers, administrators, and staff collectively chipping away at the idea of stewardship and sustainability here at Millbrook. In a conversation with Mr. Williams last week, who caught me at the photocopier, he referred to the efforts of the EC to that of, quote, environmental ninjas, subtle and stealth, yet effective and very efficient. And in some ways, he's right. Small victories on the environmental and stewardship front have been the norm so far this year. Thinking ahead, and with Millbrook in mind, the sky's the absolute limit. An upcoming student-centered sustainability summit in a few short weeks, student voices in Drew Moriarty, Kevin Foley, and Olivia Charles as part of a newly forged carbon neutrality committee, a student-devised and directed Earth Day this April, ever-expanding place-based and experiential education opportunities in our curriculum, led by the likes of Ms. Goodale, and evolving campus systems, projects, etc., all in the vein of stewardship, sustainability, and single-planet living. To end, I think it was Kermit Frog that might have said it best. It's not that easy being green. It's not that easy being green. Nonetheless, it's a good and a noble fight, and one that is best served and accomplished through collaboration, cooperation, and community-mindedness, and of course, all with a sprinkle of optimism. I encourage you to find your inner wild and to join me. After all, each one of us is an environmentalist and a steward of this place.